You know the feeling. You're scrolling online, you see a shiny new job posting, and suddenly you are, like, incredibly tempted to jump ship for that immediate salary bump.
Oh, yeah, that upfront cash is always super tempting.
Right. For the last decade, the ultimate career advice was literally just that. Keep moving, hop every 2 to 3 years.
Mm.
But we've been looking through the stack of articles and internal strategy notes you shared, and today's deep dive mission is to unpack a playbook that completely challenges that strategy.
It really does. It flips the whole idea on its head.
Yeah, so we're looking at how to actually take control of your trajectory using tools like SkillDrift and why staying put might actually be, the smartest move you can make.
Well, the old rule was always to keep hopping, but the sources highlight what they call the hidden taxes of doing that.
Hidden taxes, like what?
So the first one is the social capital reset. Basically, when you leave, your internal reputation drops to zero, right? You spend months just learning the unwritten rule.
Oh man, yeah.
Uh,
Just proving you aren't incompetent all over again.
exactly. And then there's the vesting cliff, which is just leaving significant wealth on the table by walking away before your equity or bonuses vest.
Right, which hurts to think about.
Yeah. And third is the new guy bottleneck. You aren't getting the high stakes, innovative projects on day one. You're just stuck with safe tasks until you prove yourself.
It's literally like resetting a video game back to level 1. You lose all your hard-earned gear, your reputation points, your map access, just to start a different storyline.
That is a great way to put it, actually.
But, I mean, here is the tension. If the cost of leaving is that high, but the cost of staying and doing nothing is just stagnation, how do you break that deadlock?
Right. How do you move up?
Yeah, like without just crossing your fingers and waiting for HR to finally hand you a promotion.
Well, the sources argue you stop waiting for HR to hand you a map and you build your own. That's where internal mobility comes in, specifically the skill drift advantage.
Okay, so how does skill drift actually work for you in this scenario?
It acts as your personal career GPS. The core of it starts with something called a self-directed skills audit.
Wait, but practically speaking, how do you actually prove what you can do? Like, if my official title is just marketing manager, how does an app know I'm actually ready to pivot to something entirely different?
Because it breaks down your role into verifiable microskills. So instead of relying on a broad title, you use the platform to quantify your actual day-to-day abilities.
Like data analytics or behavioral psychology.
Exactly, or cross-functional leadership. Once that baseline is established, you shift into targeted gap bridging.
Targeted gap bridging, what does that look like?
So SkillDrift maps out the company's historical hiring data and role requirements.
Hmm.
It looks at the people who successfully made the jump to product management, for instance.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it extracts the specific micro skills they possessed, like agile methodology or wireframing, and then it flags your personal gaps.
Oh, wow. So it literally tells you exactly what you need to learn on your own time.
Right. By the time you sit down with leadership, you aren't just saying you'd love to try a new role,
Yeah, you're sliding a verified, up-to-date skill profile across the desk.
which completely removes the risk for the hiring manager. You learn, you adapt, and you make yourself the undeniable logical choice.
Okay, I have to push back a little here, though.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds amazing for you and me on an individual level, but do companies actually operate this way?
Wow.
Because it feels like a lot of places are still stuck in very rigid, siloed departments where you can't just hop over the fence.
I get that, but the enterprise view is fundamentally shifting to accommodate this. Forward-thinking companies are moving away from the rigid corporate ladder where you just climb straight up.
Right.
Instead, they're building a corporate jungle gym, these fluid, skills-based ecosystems that function as an internal talent marketplace.
So instead of a single ladder to climb, it's like unlocking fast travel points on your game map.
Exactly.
You use those micro skills to warp directly to a new department where those abilities are needed.
And that fast travel system benefits the company just as much. Say leadership needs a mid-level operations role, instead of spending thousands of dollars and months recruiting externally.
Which is a huge pain.
Right. SkillDrift shows them an underutilized logistics coordinator internally who already has 80% of the project management skills needed.
Oh, wow. And crucially, I'm guessing leadership can see that person is actively upskilling to close the remaining 20%.
Exactly. It turns a static roster of employees into a completely fluid talent pool.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? The pivot playbook from these sources is incredibly clear. You deconstruct your skill set down to the micro level.
Yep.
Find the white space where your company's urgent needs intersect with your adjacent skills. Vocalize your intentions to your manager And most importantly, execute the upskill using your internal tools before the job even opens.
You really don't have to keep resetting the game to level 1 just to get ahead. You can keep your hard-earned gear, maintain your reputation, and unlock completely new parts of the map right where you are.
Grow where you were planted, but be the one cultivating the garden. It does leave me with one final thought for you to chew on, though. If companies are truly shifting away from rigid departments toward these fluid internal talent marketplaces, will traditional job titles completely disappear in the next decade?
That's a fascinating question.
Right. Could we see a future where titles are replaced entirely by dynamic, ever-changing skill portfolios? Definitely something to think about.